Munger actually made over 90% of his immense wealth after his 65th birthday? Seriously, think about that for a second. Today, we're completely tearing down that stubborn myth that building wealth is just a young person's game. We're going to unpack the brilliant philosophy of the legendary billionaire investor and look specifically at his framework for building real, lasting wealth after the age of 50.
Look, if you're approaching 50 and you catch yourself thinking, it's too late, I missed my chance, I should have started younger, well, I promise you aren't alone. We are literally bombarded every single day with these flashy stories of 20-something tech billionaires, and honestly, it creates this loud, negative self-talk that makes us feel like our clock has just completely run out. But according to one of history's absolute greatest investors, that belief isn't just self-defeating, it's mathematically wrong.
Okay, let's dive into this. Because society basically expects us to start playing it safe as we age, right? To kind of just stop learning and resign ourselves to the status quo. But Munger's mindset, it flips this whole idea on its head. He realized these later decades are often your absolute peak earning years. So, it's not a time to coast. It actually requires aggressive learning, supreme discipline, and making some incredibly smart decisions.
So here is our roadmap for implementing Munger's principles today. We'll be looking at 1. The too late myth. 2. Consistency and compounding. 3. Why most people fail. 4. The over 50 action plan. And finally, 5. Munger's real message. Let's start right off with part 1, the too late myth, and why your 40s and 50s are actually your strongest investing period.
So when people hit 50 and start to panic, they usually fall straight into what we call the playing safe trap. They literally just stop learning and freeze up, completely terrified of making a mistake. Now, Munger famously said that avoiding sheer stupidity is more important than being brilliant. But here's the catch. Shutting down completely isn't avoiding stupidity. Actually, it's just guaranteeing stagnation. Wealth creation absolutely does not have an expiration date.
And here is the counterintuitive math on this. Many people earn their absolute highest income in their 40s and 50s. Think about it for a second. You've got decades of career experience, you're likely to senior level, and your earning power is fully optimized. Because you literally have more capital coming in than ever before, this is mathematically your strongest period to invest, but only if you actually utilize it.
Moving right along to part 2, consistency and compounding, or the snowball effect. And this brilliantly illustrates the core engine of Munger's entire strategy, compounding. He talked about this nonstop. Compounding is really just making small, smart decisions and repeating them until they generate money entirely on their own. Even with a pretty modest amount of investing, if you stay relentlessly consistent, the money stays in the market, it grows, and then, well, that growth grows. It's like a giant snowball rolling down a hill. This is exactly why the wealthy focus almost exclusively on long-term investing.
We so often fall for the glitzy illusion of fast money, right? Chasing the excitement, hoping for a lucky break, or trying to perfectly time the market. But Munger's reality was all about consistency. The real secret to the snowball effect isn't hitting the jackpot overnight. No, it's actively avoiding stupid mistakes and having the extreme, almost boring patience to let compounding do all the heavy lifting for you.
Which brings us to part 3, why most people fail and the uncomfortable truth behind it.
Prepare yourself, because low income is actually not the primary reason people fail to reach $1 million. Most people fail because of 4 fatal flaws. If you want to build wealth later in life, you've got to rigorously audit your behavior. Avoid unnecessary overspending. Avoid carrying toxic debt. Avoid chasing get-rich-quick shortcuts. And honestly, perhaps most importantly, avoid constantly interrupting your investments just out of fear or impatience.
Avoiding those bad habits is just as important as picking the right stocks. Defense is your unglamorous, absolutely crucial secret weapon here. Building wealth is, frankly, it's incredibly boring. It's literally like watching paint dry, but, the paint is made of money. Munger firmly believed that if you can just master your own behavior and ignore that burning urge to get rich quick, well, you've pretty much already won.
Let's move to and see how this builds into an actual strategy. Here is part 4, the over 50 action plan, your practical blueprint. So, for those of us over 50, your blueprint requires 4 very focused steps. First, aggressively upgrade your financial knowledge, things like taxes, retirement accounts, and assets. Second, maintain relentless consistency in your investing. Just keep at it. Third, and Munger stressed this one deeply, protect your health and your clear thinking, because those are, without a doubt, your greatest assets. And fourth, stay patient.
To really hammer that last step home,
Listen to this legendary quote from Charlie Munger. "The big money is not in the buying or selling, but in the waiting." Extreme patience and discipline are the true currency of the wealthy. The market is going to go up and down, the news headlines will definitely try to cause a panic, but the people who make the real money, they simply wait.
Finally, Part 5, Munger's real message and looking beyond the $1,000,000 mark.
We've talked a whole lot about the mechanics of money today, but the real lesson from Charlie Munger isn't just about accumulating some giant pile of cash. True wealth means achieving real financial independence. It means having absolute freedom over your time, waking up with a deep peace of mind, and having complete control over your own future. Ultimately, that is what hitting these financial milestones actually gives you.
I want to leave you with this final, really empowering push, because no matter your age, achieving that freedom and peace of mind is still entirely possible. The best time to start investing was years ago. We all know that, right? But the second best time is today. You haven't run out of time. You literally just need to begin.
So I'll leave you with this thought. Charlie Munger built an absolute empire not by being the smartest guy in the room, but by simply outweighting everybody else. What is the one financial distraction you are going to stop paying attention to today? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. If you got something out of this breakdown of wealth building and financial wisdom, please make sure to subscribe.